Blanco County Commissioners Court to order this Monday, November 18th, 2019. It's 9 a.m. Ms. Waller, call the roll, please.
Judge Brady.
Here.
Commissioner Weir.
Here.
Commissioner Eaker.
Here.
Commissioner Leisman.
Here.
Commissioner Granberg.
Here. And join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm hesitating. I had wanted to talk more about the burn ban today, but it's not on the agenda. So we'll just live with what we have, which is the canvas of the vote. And Mr. Virial, you have the floor.
Good morning. Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. You have before you the results from the November constitutional amendment election. We had a little bit over 1,880 people that voted. I believe it was 1,883, which compared to the last amendment election is pretty good. I think the last one you had 795 total, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, it's a low turnout. Normally, that's what you get with amendment elections. But everything ran smoothly. We had the results out by 8:25. That's when Brockbeck signed the final results, and everything went well.
All the machines?
They were very good. The judges had no problems with them, opening in the morning and closing at night, at the end, at 7 o'clock. Early voting went very well. The ladies were pushing voters to vote on the express vote machines, the marking machines, and everything went through the DS200s, which are the tabulators. We had DS200s at the sites, at the polling sites, so all of the ballots were voted on and counted at the site. So the only thing we used on election night were the USB chips to download on the computer, and the results were obtained very fast.
And then if somebody questioned it, you still have the paper?
You have the paper ballot. In fact, the Secretary of State, after every election, they require a partial manual count, and they choose which race to be counted, and 3 precincts. They did not waive it for this election, so at 1 o'clock, I'm starting the partial manual count, and they chose amendment number 4, which is the one with the tech. Yes. So I have to go through all the ballots, do tally sheets, and tally those 3 precincts by hand in that race, so that I can go ahead and report it to them after it's done. But everything went well. But you're right, Commissioner. I mean, if somebody has a question as to whether the machines work correctly or not, you have the paper ballots to do a recount.
Ms. Broadbeck is the presiding
Early voting ballot or presiding judge, yes.
election, but she's the early voting election judge.
Early voting ballot, yes.
Okay. And today is the last day the Commissioners Court by law can canvass the votes, correct?
That is correct.
What's the advantage of doing it on the last day?
Well, sir, the thing is, when you schedule the meeting, most of the time you schedule it after the early voting ballot board needs to reconvene, if they need to reconvene to do provisional ballots or overseas ballots. We had provisional ballots, but all of them were not qualified. The 5 that we had were not qualified to do it, to get counted, in other words. We didn't have any overseas or military ballots, but the information was submitted prior to election day, so to schedule the meeting, and that would have been after the reconvening of the early voting ballot board.
Okay. So the day that the Commissioners Court canvasses the vote determines the deadline that somebody can ask for a recount, right?
That is correct.
Okay. So by doing it on the last day, we've extended the recount request period a little bit.
Yes, Judge.
Okay. And the five provisional votes?
Mhm.
And so one reason for a provisional vote is somebody's not in the system right or something, but it turns out later when you examine it, they're qualified. But in this case, if I heard you correctly, none of the five qualified, so they didn't count.
That is correct.
Now, these are people who technically aren't registered.
That is correct. I mean, you have different reasons why a person could vote a provisional ballot. In this case, we had one voter who submitted their application after the deadline. The deadline to register for this election was October the 7th. She submitted her application on October 17th. So by law, you can't count it. I mean, it disqualifies the provisional. Another one that voted provisionally was a resident of Austin, now a resident of Austin, Travis County. So that one wasn't counted either or qualified either. The other three were from people that were residing in other counties and were here on election day, and they hadn't voted at their counties, so they wanted to vote here. They did submit a provisional envelope, but it wasn't, by what they stated to the judge, they did it just to be able to vote, not because they wanted to move here.
So who makes that determination, you or the election?
The voter registrar. Me.
I'm not going to say a particular person because I don't want to say it I don't want to put it on a public record. But I saw a training issue that I think you might want to address later on. You made the comment that the poll workers did a good job of what's the word I want to say? Directing or influencing folks to at least think about trying our electronic system.
Mm-hmm.
And I wandered around some that day, and I happened to wander into a particular polling place, and the approach was, it's all in just, there was nothing untoward, or I'm not saying anything mischievous was happening, but the language that was used, I think, needs some retraining, because what was said to a number of people while I was sitting there was, when they would ask, I say, well, here's a paper ballot and you can mark your own, or you can take this and the computer will do it for you. The computer, no, literally the words were, and the computer will vote for you. And it's all, like I say, in the wording, but that makes it sound to some folks like exactly what they've been worried about.
It's perception, Judge. Yes. I mean, yes, that is not the correct word to use.
So,
I mean, the machine will mark the ballot the way they want it to be marked, but.
and so perhaps you can emphasize that for the next election down the line. So. All right. So, anyone would like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the canvass of the votes from the section election held on November 5th, 2019.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Weir, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else you want to add?
I need a copy of that so that I can submit it to the citizens.
All right. But anything else?
No, that would be it.
All right.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Commissioner Weir, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
No, I haven't even started.
All right.
Today's the day for